Every journey begins not in the world outside, but in the landscape of the mind. It begins with an idea, a spark, a picture so vivid that it demands attention. Before a skyscraper reaches the sky, before a symphony fills a concert hall, before a movement changes society, it exists first as a vision, an image, a concept, a dream that someone dares to see. Clearly, the mind is not just a container for thought. It is a launching pad, a place where possibility takes shape long before the first tangible steps appear. Vision is not just seeing what is, but imagining what could be. It requires a kind of focus that is rare and often uncomfortable. When you dare to see something different, something bigger than your current reality, you expose yourself to doubt, skepticism, and fear. The mind may waver, the imagination may falter, and yet, it is precisely this act of daring to see beyond the present that separates those who create from those who watch. Before action can take place, the mind must commit to the possibility of change. It is not enough to wish. It is not enough to hope. Seeing in the mind is deliberate and intentional. It is an act of faith in the unseen, a conviction that what exists only in thought can be made real. This clarity allows the mind to focus on details, anticipate obstacles, and consider solutions that would otherwise remain invisible. Without this internal vision, actions are scattered, fragmented, and often ineffective. Vision also serves as a compass when uncertainty arises. Life is unpredictable, and paths are rarely straight. Without a clear mental picture of what is possible, it is easy to lose direction. The mind's vision functions as a guiding star, constantly reminding us of the destination, shaping decisions, and inspiring persistence. When the challenges grow, the vision becomes a touchstone, a reminder of what is possible when effort and intention align. Seeing it in the mind transforms ordinary thinking into strategic creativity. The mind begins to simulate outcomes, experiment with alternatives, and rehearse possibilities before a single step is taken. This mental rehearsal is not fantasy, it is preparation. It builds confidence, refines judgment, and strengthens resolve. Every successful endeavor carries this invisible blueprint, a mental construct that precedes the physical effort required to bring it into existence. The process of envisioning is inherently generative. Each time the mind imagines a future reality, it triggers ideas, connections, and innovations that might otherwise remain dormant. Vision fosters insight, intuition, and perspective, allowing us to anticipate not only what is necessary, but also what might be transformative. By seeing it first in the mind, we create space for experimentation, for questioning, and for refining the direction before resources are invested or risks are undertaken. Vision also demands patience and persistence. The mind's image is rarely realized overnight. In many cases, the first vision is incomplete or imperfect. Yet, seeing it early provides a framework upon which improvements, adaptations, and iterations can be made. The mind holds the possibility of what could be, allowing action to be guided by insight rather than by random chance. Each day spent refining, imagining, and planning strengthens the clarity of the vision and brings it incrementally closer to reality. Seeing in the mind also builds resilience. Challenges are inevitable, setbacks unavoidable. But when the mind has a clear image of what is possible, failure becomes a temporary obstacle rather than a stopping point. The vision itself becomes a source of motivation, reminding us of the potential on the other side of struggle. It is a constant companion, quietly insisting that what exists in thought can, with persistence, exist in life. The act of seeing also cultivates confidence. When the mind has rehearsed the outcome, anticipated the pitfalls, and imagined the path forward, hesitation diminishes. Action becomes deliberate because it is informed by a mental certainty that the vision is achievable. Confidence does not come from external validation. It comes from internal clarity. The more vivid and detailed the vision, the more capable we feel of executing it. Finally, seeing in the mind is not passive, it is preparatory. Every successful action is preceded by an invisible act of imagination. Every innovation, every accomplishment, every transformation begins with a mind willing to see beyond the present, to hold an idea as real before it is real. This mental image is the seed of creation, the first necessary step in a process that transforms thought into action, potential into reality, and dreams into something tangible that can be touched. Shared and celebrated. Too often, people wait for a signal from the outside world, a validation that they are ready, that their idea is worth pursuing, or that the timing is perfect. But clarity is never found in external approval, it is cultivated within. Waiting for permission is a trap that keeps potential locked away. The world cannot hand you your purpose, you must recognize it for yourself. When you seek permission, you surrender control over your life to someone else's understanding of what is possible. Clarity begins with self-awareness. To know what you want, you must first understand what matters to you, what drives you, and what impact you hope to make. This requires reflection, honesty, and courage. It means confronting fears, doubts, and insecurities, and deciding that your vision is more important than anyone else's judgment. The mind must see clearly what you hope to achieve before the world can even recognize it. Permission is tempting because it offers reassurance. It provides a sense of safety, a shield against risk. But the truth is that those who wait for permission rarely experience breakthroughs. Safety is not the measure of meaningful progress. Real growth and achievement occur when we act in alignment with our vision, even when no one else can yet see its value. Clarity in the mind outweighs the comfort of approval. When you act with clarity, your decisions are deliberate rather than reactive. You do not rely on someone else's standards, advice, or acceptance to dictate your path. Every choice becomes an expression of your inner certainty. The moment you recognize what you are meant to do and why it matters, hesitation fades, and you can move forward with a sense of purpose that cannot be shaken by external doubt. Clarity also provides resilience. When others doubt you, criticize your ideas, or question your readiness, the inner vision acts as a protective anchor. Permission from others is fleeting and inconsistent, but self-understanding is enduring. It allows you to persist through setbacks, maintain focus under pressure, and navigate obstacles with confidence because you have already aligned yourself with your own truth. People often confuse feedback with permission, thinking that approval is required to validate their next step. But clarity teaches that feedback is only useful when it serves your vision. Not every opinion is relevant, and not every voice deserves authority over your decisions. Acting with clarity means filtering input through the lens of your purpose, taking what strengthens your path and discarding what distracts from it. Clarity also empowers risk-taking. When you are uncertain, the unknown feels dangerous, paralyzing, and overwhelming. But when your purpose is clear, risk becomes calculated rather than reckless. You know what you are aiming for, why it matters, and what you are willing to sacrifice to achieve it. This kind of internal certainty transforms fear into focus and hesitation into intentional action. When you stop waiting for permission, you reclaim ownership of your life. You no longer measure progress by external validation, and you no longer allow others to define your limits. Your decisions, actions, and outcomes become reflections of your own understanding and conviction. This is the essence of leadership, not in title, but in the ability to define a path and follow it with integrity, regardless of outside approval. Clarity encourages creativity and innovation. When you are not constrained by others' expectations, you can experiment, explore, and expand what is possible. Ideas flourish when the mind is free to pursue them without seeking acceptance. Innovation is born from a commitment to the vision in your mind, not from the approval of those who cannot yet see it. Every breakthrough begins when someone decides that clarity matters more than consensus. Finally, clarity is a source of momentum. Once you see your path, understand your purpose, and commit to acting without external permission, progress accelerates. Every decision becomes aligned, every action intentional, and every setback temporary. Clarity transforms uncertainty into confidence, and in that confidence lies the power to create outcomes that would have seemed impossible if you had waited for someone else to give you the green light. Commitment is the bridge between possibility and reality. Dreams and ideas are powerful, but they remain ethereal unless anchored by consistent action. The moment you decide to commit, you give your vision a tangible foundation. Commitment transforms thought into movement, and movement transforms movement into measurable progress. Without it, even the clearest vision can dissolve into nothing more than imagination. True commitment is more than enthusiasm or fleeting motivation. It is a conscious decision to dedicate your time, energy, and resources to something larger than the moment. It requires focus, sacrifice, and a willingness to endure discomfort for the sake of a goal that may not yet exist in the world. Commitment does not rely on convenience or immediate reward. It relies on the alignment of action with purpose. When you commit, every choice begins to reflect the reality you are determined to create. Decisions are no longer random or reactive. They are deliberate and intentional. You measure opportunities against your goal and allow your commitment to guide priorities. This creates a kind of internal gravity that pulls your actions into alignment with your vision, turning fragmented efforts into a coherent, powerful force. Commitment is tested by adversity. The world rarely presents a straight path toward meaningful goals. Obstacles, failures, and doubts are inevitable. Without commitment, these challenges become excuses to abandon the pursuit. But when commitment is genuine, setbacks become part of the process, lessons to be learned rather than signs of defeat. The very act of persevering through difficulty reinforces the reality of what you are building. The consistency of commitment compounds over time. Small actions repeated daily with intention create momentum. Each step forward, no matter how minor it may seem, adds to a trajectory that eventually yields results far beyond the initial effort. Commitment is a long-term investment in your vision, and the returns are measured not just in outcomes but in growth, resilience, and the capacity to achieve even greater things. Commitment also inspires others. When people witness unwavering dedication, they are drawn to contribute, support, and believe. Your commitment sends a signal that what you are pursuing is not trivial, that it is worth attention and energy. This ripple effect amplifies the impact of your actions, creating a reality that extends beyond personal achievement and influences the world around you. Holding fast to commitment requires discipline. Motivation fluctuates, excitement wanes, and external circumstances shift. Discipline ensures that action continues even when feelings falter. It is the invisible thread that ties intention to execution, transforming ideas into tangible outcomes. Without discipline, commitment remains a promise without follow-through, a potential unfulfilled. Commitment creates clarity in action. When you are committed, every step becomes purposeful. You do not drift aimlessly or waste resources on distractions because your mind is focused on the reality you intend to create. This clarity removes ambiguity, reduces indecision, and accelerates progress, allowing you to move with precision and confidence toward your goal. The act of commitment also shapes identity. By repeatedly choosing to act in alignment with your vision, you begin to see yourself as the kind of person who can achieve it. This internal alignment reinforces your actions and strengthens the resolve to continue. Reality is not only built through external results, but also through the evolution of character and self-perception. Commitment is the catalyst that transforms intention into manifestation. Ideas alone are fragile, easily forgotten, or dismissed. But when a vision is paired with unwavering commitment, it becomes tangible, resistant to doubt, and capable of creating real-world impact. Commitment ensures that dreams are not merely contemplated but actively constructed, piece by piece, through persistent and purposeful effort. Courage is the force that transforms possibility into action. Without it, even the clearest vision and strongest commitment can remain dormant, trapped in the realm of thought. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite fear, to take the first step into uncertainty, and to act when the path is not fully visible. It is the bridge that connects intention with reality. Every significant achievement in life requires stepping into the unknown. The unknown is uncomfortable, unpredictable, and often intimidating. Courage allows us to embrace this discomfort rather than be paralyzed by it. It provides the inner strength to confront uncertainty, to trust that the path will reveal itself as we move, and to understand that progress is rarely linear. Courage also requires vulnerability. To act with bravery, we must expose our ideas, dreams, and efforts to judgment, criticism, and potential failure. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is a necessary condition for growth. It is the willingness to put oneself on the line, knowing that the outcome is uncertain, but believing that the act of moving forward is worth more than the comfort of inaction. Fear often masquerades as practicality, convincing us that the timing is wrong, the resources insufficient, or the risk too high. Courage is the antidote to this rationalized hesitation. It is the choice to prioritize possibility over safety, to value growth over comfort, and to trust that the act of pursuing a vision will shape outcomes in ways that cautious restraint cannot. Courage is reinforced through action. The first step is always the hardest, but every subsequent step strengthens resolve. Momentum builds as fear is confronted and gradually diminished, and what once seemed impossible begins to feel achievable. Courage is not a one-time act. It is a habit cultivated through repeated decisions to act in alignment with vision, despite uncertainty. Courage also inspires those around us. When people witness someone acting boldly in pursuit of a vision, it creates a sense of possibility that extends beyond the individual. Bravery is contagious. It encourages others to step out of their own comfort zones, to challenge limitations, and to pursue what they might otherwise have considered unreachable. Courage has a multiplying effect that amplifies impact. The gap between vision and reality is often filled with obstacles, setbacks, and criticism. Courage is what allows us to navigate these challenges without surrendering. It demands perseverance in the face of difficulty, and the confidence to continue even when progress is slow or imperceptible. Those who act courageously understand that struggle is part of the process, not a reason to abandon the journey. Courage is deeply tied to authenticity. It requires knowing oneself, understanding what matters, and taking actions that reflect true values and intentions. Acting with courage is not simply about bold gestures. It is about aligning daily choices with a vision that is meaningful. Authentic courage is grounded in purpose and guided by clarity, which allows it to endure even when external circumstances are discouraging. Courage also expands perception. When we act despite fear, we discover strengths, skills, and insights that would have remained hidden otherwise. It opens doors to opportunities that were invisible from the sidelines and reveals possibilities that only emerge through engagement and experimentation. In this way, courage transforms not only outcomes but also understanding, awareness, and capacity. Ultimately, courage is the catalyst that closes the distance between what we imagine and what we can achieve. It allows ideas to leave the safety of the mind and enter the realm of action. It empowers us to face uncertainty, embrace risk, and take deliberate steps forward, turning hesitation into momentum and potential into tangible impact. Owning your potential begins with recognizing that it is uniquely yours. No one else can define the limits of what you are capable of achieving. Too often, people allow others' opinions, expectations, or standards to shape their sense of possibility, surrendering control of their own growth. True ownership means accepting that your potential is your responsibility, and that it is your task to cultivate, protect, and express it fully. Ownership requires awareness. You must first acknowledge the strengths, talents, and capabilities that exist within you, even if they are not yet fully realized. This means confronting self-doubt, overcoming fear of failure, and resisting the urge to compare yourself to others. When you see your potential as a resource rather than a question, you open the door to intentional development and meaningful action. Taking ownership also demands commitment. It is not enough to passively recognize potential. It must be actively nurtured. This involves setting goals, creating plans, and consistently taking steps that align with your capabilities and aspirations. Potential grows when it is exercised, and the responsibility for that growth lies entirely in your hands. Owning your potential requires accountability. It means refusing to blame circumstances, other people, or external limitations for inaction or setbacks. The moment you place responsibility for your growth in someone else's hands, you give away the power to shape your life. Accountability ensures that every success and failure is a reflection of deliberate effort, a testament to your dedication to realizing your own capabilities. Ownership of potential also demands courage. Exploring what you are capable of often involves risk, vulnerability, and uncertainty. It requires stepping beyond comfort zones, taking on challenges that seem daunting, and facing the possibility of failure head-on. Courage transforms potential into progress because it allows you to act on what you know you can become, rather than remaining in the safety of what is already familiar. To own your potential is to embrace continuous learning. Growth is never linear, and the path to fulfilling your capabilities is filled with discovery, experimentation, and adaptation. Each challenge offers a lesson. Each setback reveals new insight, and each success validates the effort invested. Ownership means committing to this journey of lifelong improvement and refusing to settle for stagnation. Owning your potential requires vision. It is not enough to know your strengths. You must imagine how they can be applied, expanded, and shared. Potential is realized when it is directed toward meaningful goals that reflect your values and aspirations. Vision provides focus, purpose, and direction, transforming raw ability into results that are visible, tangible, and impactful. Ownership is reinforced through persistence. Talent alone is insufficient. Consistent effort is what converts potential into achievement. The daily decisions to practice, learn, and persevere create a trajectory of growth that compounds over time. Each choice to act, even when difficult, strengthens the connection between what is possible in your mind and what becomes reality. Taking ownership also strengthens confidence. The more responsibility you assume for developing and using your potential, the more you trust yourself to navigate challenges, make decisions, and achieve results. This self-trust reinforces action, reduces hesitation, and creates a feedback loop where belief in your ability generates more opportunities to exercise and expand it. Ultimately, ownership of your potential is a declaration of personal power. It asserts that you are the architect of your life, the steward of your growth, and the executor of your possibilities. By claiming responsibility for what you are capable of achieving, you create the conditions for transformation, innovation, and meaningful impact that cannot be replicated by anyone else. Action is the engine that turns ideas into reality. Without it, even the most brilliant vision remains confined to thought, intangible and unrealized. Possibility is only potential until it is paired with deliberate, consistent action. Each step taken, no matter how small, is a signal to the world and to yourself that your vision is not just imagined but pursued with intention. The first step is often the hardest because it requires leaving the comfort of contemplation and entering the uncertainty of execution. Action demands courage, focus, and the willingness to confront the unknown. Ideas alone cannot create change. Only action, fueled by clarity and commitment, has the power to move the needle and produce measurable outcomes. Action also requires discipline. Motivation fluctuates, excitement fades, and obstacles inevitably arise. Discipline ensures that you continue moving forward even when emotions waver. It is the practice of showing up day after day and doing the work required to turn possibility into reality. Every small effort compounds over time, creating momentum that transforms ideas into tangible results. Action provides feedback. When we act, we test assumptions, learn from mistakes, and discover insights that were invisible in the realm of possibility. Each attempt refines understanding, clarifies priorities, and exposes the adjustments needed to improve. Without action, potential remains hypothetical. Through action, it becomes concrete, malleable, and responsive to reality. Action is a demonstration of belief. By acting, you communicate to yourself and to the world that your vision matters. It transforms abstract conviction into observable results. When others see action, they are more likely to support, engage, and collaborate, amplifying the impact of what was once only a personal idea. Action creates ripples that extend beyond the individual, turning personal ambition into collective influence. Action bridges the gap between intent and outcome. Vision, commitment, and courage are all vital, but they remain incomplete without the motion that translates thought into form. Each decision, each effort, and each completed task moves the needle toward reality, proving that what was once imagined can exist in the tangible world. Action is the mechanism through which the intangible becomes visible. Action fosters resilience. As you pursue a vision, setbacks and failures are inevitable, but taking consistent action allows you to adapt and recover. Each attempt builds strength, experience, and confidence, creating a foundation that makes future actions more effective. Action is a teacher that rewards persistence and punishes stagnation. Action generates clarity. As we move, patterns emerge, priorities crystallize, and the path forward becomes visible. The act of doing provides insight that cannot be gained through planning or reflection alone. It allows us to see what works, what needs adjustment, and where to focus energy, converting abstract possibility into strategic, deliberate steps. Action creates accountability. When a vision exists only in thought, there is no consequence for inaction. Once steps are taken, results or the lack thereof become tangible indicators of progress. Accountability motivates further effort, sharpens focus, and reinforces the connection between effort and outcome, ensuring that possibility is actively pursued rather than passively imagined. Ultimately, action is what transforms potential into impact. Ideas and visions carry infinite possibility, but only through movement, effort, and execution do they generate real-world change. Action is the proof that what was once merely imagined can affect people, systems, and the world. It is the final, indispensable link that converts thought into achievement and dreams into something that can be experienced, shared, and celebrated.